What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 6th edition of the Main Event Mixer. I'm Mr. Cincinnati from the Wrestling Junkies podcast. Welcome, gentlemen. It is always great to see your faces. I am joined by an esteemed panel here. We've got Mr. OTM from the On the Mark podcast. We've got Jim Tucker, and last but certainly not least, my co-host, the podcast dad. Gentlemen, how are you? WrestleMania Night 1 is in the books. How we feeling?
Tired.
Yeah.
I might have the most energy of the bunch. Only had a few beers. Did not stay out to 3:30 a.m. I've been up since 3:30 a.m. With the baby, but great night one.
Good to have you back, Tucky. It's been a while since we've had you on any shows.
No doubt.
Yeah.
How dare you introduce me last?
I said last but not least. What?
It's still last.
You're the wind beneath my wings, all right? So sorry that I saved you for last. Is that a problem?
That's sweet.
Okay, you know what? Okay, next time you host, all right? How about that?
I'll host, and it'll be, 10-minute show? Don't let me do that.
In and out.
That's how I got
anyway.
the problem in the first place.
All right.
Yes, sir.
In rare form tonight.
This is supposed to be a nice morning, just a laid back. Okay, all right. Well, this is
what you get.
And now you're mixer. Yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, welcome. As always, make sure to follow at @mainevent_net for everything related to the Main Event Network. We've got podcasts, we've got blogs, we've got fan art. I mean, is there anything we don't have?
Nope.
I can't think of anything.
Complaints. We don't have complaints. Everybody online, shut up. Enjoy WrestleMania.
No tribalism here at the Main Event Wrestling Network.
Absolutely. And also use the code MANIA for On the Mark, Main Event Network, as well as Wrestling Junkies podcast merch. Make sure you get your bingo card that's also pinned to our social media at Junkies Pod if you need something a little interactive for today. Just add a little something to it. This was, and I put this together just kind of on the fly, and it's so far so good. All I need is KSI to take an RKO, and I think and I'm set.
Bingo.
So, yeah.
We have good I think there's good odds that happens.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. But let's get right on into it, gentlemen. WrestleMania Night 1 is in the books. They have made it clear this is a new era. Before we get into the actual results, let's talk about the new opening graphic. Very MCU-esque. And I'm going to start with Mr. OTM. What did you think of this new opener?
I thought it was great. I mean, I'm not a big, Marvel superhero movie guy, but that's the vibe, obviously, that I think we all got from it. I think it was perfect. It like you said, it truly feels like a new era in the WWE, and I had no complaints with the new intro.
I like it. Tuck?
Well, I much of the same sentiment. It just feels new and fresh. Different isn't always bad. It's not always good, but along with the new opener, we've got the Prime bottle in the middle of the ring, which I thought was a joke. And then it just stayed there the whole time. And I was like, maybe with the layered canvases, it would be Prime in between matches, but WWE's getting their bag. And for everyone that is critical of the advertisement, it's not uncommon anywhere else. And so I wish all of the extra advertisement money made our tickets cheaper, but it doesn't seem that that's the case. But a lot of new, a lot of fresh. I preferred the Hollywood stage over the XL stage, but I think it's still a beautiful, gorgeous setup. I love the set reveals. They're making everything about WrestleMania bigger and badder. First WWE WrestleMania World. So when it comes out to Vegas, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, podcast dad, I'm going to turn this over to you because, we talked about a lot of this last night, and I'm going to let you start with the Prime bottle and kind of how long it took people to even notice it. We had 7 or 8 people hanging out with us last night.
Yeah.
How many of them, how long did it take them to notice?
I think it was the 4th match. It took somebody's going, oh, look, there's a Prime bottle in the middle of the ring. It's like, yeah, there is. It wasn't as bad as what they had on TV. I think it was SmackDown a couple weeks ago where it was the bright and bigger Prime bottle. Like, I'm okay with that if it's just a black outline. Like, I don't really care. The one of the things we talked about advertising wise was the main event where it was Home Shield, I think. Was the sponsor.
American Home
Made
Shield.
sense. Shield with
and it does. And Eric was like, man, I hate this. And then like halfway through the match, I'm like, do you even remember that you're looking at it? He's like, no. So it's like, it doesn't, I'm not upset with it, any of them. Like it is what it is. Like Tuck said, like this happens in literally every other sport. And so like, who cares? We have been just trained to believe that the mat is sacred and nothing should be on it ever, but they don't really care. I'm cool with it. As long as the in-ring stuff is good, I don't care what's on the mat.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah,
you were right. I mean, overall, the sponsorship wasn't terrible. The Fallout one was a little weird to watch because they had the character on the mat. That was a little awkward, but
you had a cool DDT spot on it.
Yeah,
you
did.
And that takes skill to do that.
Anyway, overall, I think presentation, it was slick. I mean, we knew that this is this new production era. I mean, Triple H coming out at the top of it, having that WrestleMania 3 moment and giving the welcome. This was the first time it's felt truly like out with the old, in with the new. I was watching the Slammies before we got started today, and even that they have made into an actual show with a true like award show presence. I mean, we're off to the races here. So it's a fun time to be a fan.
WWE World too. I feel like that's great to get the fans involved into everything. It makes you want to buy that ticket. Or I don't even think there is tickets to go to WWE World, to be honest with you, but I'm sure there's extra things you got to pay for. But that kind of stuff incentivizes going to that experience beforehand, and it's another genius idea by the WWE. I know we're gonna sound like shills,
sure.
but
it's true.
It's good. I mean, the whole weekend, you got the Hall of Fame, you have 2 nights of Mania, you got the Slammies, like the whole thing. They can just wrap into one and just make a crazy weekend.
And I think even that. When you look at like when I think of Manias in the past, I've been a lot of indie centric other than Saturday night, Sunday night. But this weekend has felt like WWE has had their handprint on a number of days throughout the week. You got the next gen doc coming on Roku. I think they've understood how big it can be. And I haven't thought about the indies or Ring of Honor. I have thought about Ring of Honor, but I haven't made time to go into it because there is so much WWE content that I want to consume. And so I think they're taking full advantage of it. By the time our kids are grown, it might be WrestleMania month. At this rate, because it started as one day and now it's a world in a week. So I think that's been an interesting feel for me as well, because there were a number of indies last year and the year before that I was trying to tune into and making appointment viewing, and I haven't really searched them out this year.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, the sheer impact of WrestleMania week that WWE can have on a city. I mean, not even just like with tonight being night 2, but even tomorrow, that Raw after WrestleMania, it feels like we're in for something exciting, and they've got WWE World going there. They're going to have more wrestlers making appearances. They have truly decided to take that additional day as well to again pump all the money that you can out of it. And this fan access convention, it's the largest one that we've seen, and it's certainly closer than anything that we saw at SummerSlam last year. I mean, that was a compared to what we're seeing at WrestleMania, that was slightly disappointing last year. So who knows? Hopefully next year will be an entirely different situation.
We were all there, people.
Yeah,
we were.
Fact,
we
didn't know each other at the time.
I was going to say that we didn't know, but we were all there.
SummerSlam's got a problem this year. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Us 4 and the podcast wife are going to be there. It's going to be rowdy.
Love it.
She's excited. I briefed her on a couple of the situations that we have going on. And she's real excited.
It's all right. Tom's a really nice guy. I'm the one you got to worry about.
I'll manage Guile. I'll be months into fatherhood by then, so I'll maintain gags. My wife's heading home early. We're coming to Indiana end of July, and then she's got to head out for volleyball, which means I just have to go to SummerSlam by myself with the boys. So I'm gonna have like 3. I'm gonna be like 3 beers drunk into the pre-show. That's where I'm at. Yeah,
I like it. I like it. Well, gentlemen, let's get into night 1. Rhea Ripley retains the Women's World Championship, defeating Becky Lynch. Podcast Dad, I'm going to start with you. What did you think?
I thought it was a good match. I don't know if it was a great match. I thought it was a good match. I'm happy that Rhea won. I don't think Becky needed the title. I liked both entrances. Becky's just, I'm going to sell that book no matter what. I'm not going to blame her for doing it. I mean,
but what comparison did you? What did you say it reminded you of though?
So her gear though, her gear looked like a Budweiser logo. Like that's all I got from it.
Hell yeah.
And no, that's not a bad thing, but just the middle part it looked exactly like the logo. I liked Rhea's live entrance. That was cool. Like the lead singer looked exactly like Rhea Ripley, which was kind of scary. Overall, like a good opener. Again, happy Rhea won. Becky didn't need the title. I'd be interested to see if Becky goes away for a little bit after this. Like, does somebody take her out tomorrow night on Raw? What happens? And what direction we have for Rhea? Because I don't see a clear challenger. Maybe a Liv Morgan that just popped in my head, but I don't really see a clear title challenger for her at the moment.
Tuck, what'd you think?
Well, I got the predictions pulled up here, and of the 18 entrants, only 2 picked Becky Lynch. So the public money was on Rhea Ripley here as well. That's where I went. It does not hold a candle to Rhea Charlotte from last year, but a good opener, a meaningful match to get us going. And I liked the coattails of Becky Lynch's ring gear, had the books printed on it with the wrap. I thought those were interesting twists. And so whenever we call back to that match, we'll remember that she has a book that was a bestseller that I'll never read.
Oh, hey, it's really good, and I don't read. So
I hear the audiobook is also worth a listen.
Yeah, I'm on page like 100 right now, Tuck. This is the first book I've read since college, and that was 10 years ago. Yeah.
I didn't have that on my main event bingo card.
Add that to the Junkies bingo card real quick.
I like it.
Mr. OTM reads.
Gags, what'd you think?
I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to sit here and say it was the best WrestleMania match of all time because it wasn't, but it was definitely the right way to start off night one, in my opinion. You definitely have the 2 biggest stars right now that are active. I would say Charlotte Flair's up there as well when she's around, but other than these 2, you have Bianca Belair, who's probably is mainstream, but this is how you grab people's attention. 2 of the best women's talent in professional wrestling. I thought they delivered. The right person won. That's how you want to start off WrestleMania. So I definitely enjoyed this one. I thought it was great. What do you think, Mr. Cincinnati?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is the energy that you want to kick off a show. Becky coming in hot off the New York Times bestseller list. Rhea getting the special entrance. I mean, she has earned every accolade. I think she won a couple of Slammies this morning too. This was the right way to do it. Rhea is doing some of the best work of her career right now, and it just seems that like once she hit this superstar level, it was just off to the races, and there's no catching her. So I mean, I think now the question then becomes, we've seen the WrestleMania title defense out of the way. This match has been built up for the better part of a year without them actually laying hands on each other until about 2-3 weeks ago. Now what's next for Rhea? Because she is in a class of her own, now it's time to determine who some of those challengers are going to be, and I'm going to be very intrigued to see how they do it.
Yeah, I think what Podcast Dad said, Liv Morgan seems like the smartest direction to go next because there already is that history between the 2. But I do see we have 48 people watching us live right now. So if you're here with us on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, leave us some comments. Let us know what you think. I'll pull them up while we're talking about it. These mixers are meant to be interactive. So if you want to make your voice heard, leave us some comments, please.
Absolutely. It makes the conversation a lot more fun, and just means less that I have to talk. Next up, 6-pack ladder match. What's that?
It's from the Podcast Dad himself.
Hey, shout out to that guy.
Oh yeah, from a screenshot from a main event mixer. I think. I wonder who that guy is.
Hey, I love those fans. They're great.
Yeah, that guy is great. I like him.
So we had the 6-pack ladder match, A-Town Down Under, Awesome Truth, Judgment Day, DIY, New Day, New Catch, Republic. We knew going in that there were going to be, likely going to be a split of the titles, and we only got that furthered because they had their own separate championship hangers. So, Tuck, I'm going to start with you on this one, second match of the show. What'd you think?
Maybe my expectations were too high for it. I expected this one to be a knockdown, drag out, fireworks, and it was good. Especially considering like Miz got away with the botched ladder and nobody got hurt. There were ambitious spots, but I thought they could have gave that more time and took some minutes off of some other things with who you had in the ring. This one that match will end up being the backbreaker from the prediction standpoint, given that 1, 2, 3, a third of the pool got it right, because if you didn't have both of them right, I did not give you credit, and that really upset one of my buddies from Nevada who picked the Miz and R-Truth, and he said you could only pick one, and I said you didn't read the directions, sir. So I had to pull the teacher card on a Saturday afternoon, but to me it was good. It was another match to keep the energy going. But with who we had in that match, I expected a little bit more. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 when I was thinking it was going to be like a 97. I don't know. I was really excited for it. And then it finished and I was like, okay. It does give the tag team titles 2 different directions to go. So maybe the fruits of the labor will be felt better in the future, but under-delivered a little bit for me.
You're on mute.
You
let this guy host?
Mr. Mutinati.
I need an off day here and there. I know he needs one too, so we both need an off day host.
Well, just for that, Chris, you're now going last. Kyle, what'd you think?
Oh, wow. The ladder scared the shit out of me, and I was hoping that somebody was going to get the attention of someone. It seemed like the refs were screaming at Priest, hey, get off the ladder. You know, it's bending, and I thought the Miz was going to die for a second. But, I mean, these matches are meant to be car crash type of matches, especially when you have 6 teams in there. It's going to be a little bit chaotic at times. But for what it was, I really enjoyed it. I thought everybody got their stuff in, had a moment to shine here. Of course, I like the winners because that's who I predicted to win A-Town Down Under in Awesome Truth. So credit to me as always for predicting that as well. But
always so humble.
The most humble they call me. But yeah, I think A-Town Down Under with the SmackDown titles is great. I think you needed a heel team to have one of the belts for sure. They definitely have depth now in the tag division. So I think this ultimately is going to set up some great things going forward for the tag division.
Tyler,
how dare you? You're not allowed to use that name.
Just did.
Yeah, I feel like it was too many teams. Like at the end of the day, like there are 12 people in that ring, and when we think of ladder matches at WrestleMania, it's usually a lot better than what we got, right? I just think it was too many people. If they would have taken 1 or 2 teams out, I think we would have gotten a little bit better of a match. Overall, I'm happy that they split the tag titles. I'm very happy that they did that. A-Town Down Under, I think, is a great choice to have it. Pairing them with Logan Paul and have them just be shitheads on SmackDown is just gonna be perfect. Awesome Truth, okay, they got the feel good win, and that's good. I hope it's not a long reign with the titles. I don't have that much interest in them holding the titles. We've gotten into this era where every title needs to feel important and seems like it feels important. I mean, that doesn't feel important right now to have the Raw tag titles on them. So maybe it's a debut, maybe it's Braun and Corbin coming up and knocking them down, maybe it's Gargano and Ciampa doing it on Raw. No. It's not going to be them. It's not going to be them. It's not going to be them.
A guy can dream, and I don't want to hear another word about it. All right.
I wouldn't be upset if the Good Brothers took it off of them. To be honest.
Wow. That's a decent
with the debuting Tama Tonga, I'd be okay.
That'd be fun.
Okay, that's something. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Now you're cooking. I saw somebody say, "What if they hold it to SummerSlam?"
No, thank you.
And you have DIY take it off them since Johnny's from Cleveland, but you think that's
so's the Miz?
Yeah.
It would just take too long to get there.
It would take too long. It would take too long.
I agree.
I'd rather have Johnny walk in with the title. I think you'd get a bigger pop, but yeah, I'd go 7 out of 10 for this one. It was good, not great. There were some crazy spots. Waller getting powerbombed through the ladder. That Gargano and Dunn DDT through the table was crazy. Cool. Overall, I'm happy the tag team titles are split. It was about time. It only worked for the Uso storyline, and now we're back on the right ship.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Yeah, no, this is for what it was. I mean, a mega multi-person match essentially. When you got 12, throwing some ladders, create some chaos. Yeah, it did exactly what it needed to do. Still wish it would have been New Catch Republic, but I digress. But yeah, I think good, not great is the right way to look at this match, and the same thing with the next match that came after it. Rey Mysterio Andrade defeated Santos Escobar and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. I'm going to start with this one just because, and this might have, I think Christy might have thrown this out yesterday when we talked about this, but this didn't necessarily feel like a WrestleMania tag team match. This was something that I could have seen at Backlash or Fastlane or Great Balls of Fire for all I care. Yeah. So, I mean, it got the job done. It seems like there's more to this story. I'm going to give this to the podcast dad to start. I don't only for the reason that there was interference, or not necessarily interference, but you have some thoughts on the gentleman that assisted in this match here. So I'm gonna let you cook.
You talking about the greatest center of all time? Is that who you're talking about? Jason Kelsey? Yes, that was. Hey, that was
Taylor
a spot.
Swift's boyfriend's brother.
How dare you? How dare you? He's got more rings than Joe Burrow. Anyway. Yes, and the other was Lane Johnson, another future Hall of Famer. That's fine. You can have that title.
No, I'm gonna hold on to it if you don't mind.
I got the Super Bowl merchandise. You can have that.
It's a fake title like The Rock had.
Oh, wow. You still look pretty damn good with it. Something we both have in common. All right.
I'll give you
No. Let me talk. Stop interrupting me, Eric. Yeah, like this match was okay. It wasn't anything special. The gear was. I like the entrance gear. Like that. I think that's the best thing I can say about the match right now. The double cross body spot was cool, where he had Ray, or Andrade had Ray like on his shoulders. That was pretty cool. But yeah, like this just didn't feel like it advanced any storylines. It just kind of felt like, hey, we got these two groups. Let's put them in a match and send everybody home happy. Let's have the local celebrity come in and do that. So it was fine. It was a nice pop for the crowd, but that was about it.
Tuck, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was fine. This was the let me go make sure my plate is still filled with food. Let me make sure I change a diaper real quick kind of match. But the public money went on Santos and Dominic, and I think the shift of only 5 people got this one right. So I expected this one to go heavily to Dom and Santos as well. But this became a backbreaker for a number of cards in the predictions.
Okay. I like it. Mr. OTM, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think a lot of us were under the assumption that Carlito was going to get involved in this and weren't expecting Eagles players to get involved, but I do get it. You have to have the hometown guys show up at WrestleMania. They do it every single year. It's a publicity thing. I get it, but yeah, the finish for me didn't do anything. I thought it was awkward, and like you said, felt like a B-level PLE kind of match. But yeah, like you guys are saying, it was fine. I just don't really have much to say from it. But that spot that the podcast dad was referring to, that was definitely the highlight for me in this one.
Yeah,
I popped.
Yeah, it was good.
And the lull of sorts continued with this next match. Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Lil Wayne helping Jay with his entrance.
That was a collective sigh from the inside.
I have a lot to say.
You meant hurting the entrance too, by the way.
Yeah,
he didn't add anything.
You can say assist, which meant he was there, but when Jey Uso is on the top rope doing the hands, there are no words other than Lil Wayne's sounds that he's making. Wow. Sad.
Yeah, the word assist did a lot of work in that sentence. Yeah,
sad is a great word for it.
Mr. OTM. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit before we came on. So, Mr. OTM, I'm going to start with you and your insight into this match.
I'm sorry. I'm probably going to say a lot of things that other people want to say, but I think as a collective, we all are a little disappointed on how this one turned out. Granted, it could be expectations were set a little too high. I think that's a problem right now with us wrestling fans, is we have such high expectations for these great feuds, and then when you get something like this, you know, I complain a lot about the Young Bucks and their style, but this felt eerily similar to if I were to watch Matt and Nick Jackson go one-on-one, because the super kick was just overused in this one. It didn't really feel like the WWE style of match that we are used to. And, you know, with this being a dream match for these two, I was really expecting them to pull out all the bells and whistles, maybe even get Solo Sikoa involved in the finish, but he wasn't even involved. It was just a clean, straight-up win for Jey Uso, which I think was the right guy to win. But ultimately, to wrap it up, yeah, I'm disappointed in this one. I had a lot, you know, higher expectations for it.
Podcast Padre.
Yeah, I think it was the first text I sent in the group chat last night. I said that match stunk. It wasn't good. It wasn't any good. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, it just we expected this to be like this. I mean, technically a blood feud, and it just kind of felt like a weird spam super. Like, I don't know any other moves that they did besides the super kick and a splash. And I feel like this needed some kind of stipulation. Like, if this was like a street fight, or if this was, you know, a last man stand or anything like that, like, it would have been better, but it just wasn't good. And at this point in time, I think I'm ready to pull the plug on the singles Usos experiment. Put them back together. They're so much better as a tag team. Like, neither of them benefited from this at all.
Yeah.
So the experiment was fun. Jay got way over with the crowd, and that's awesome, but put them back together. It's time.
Jimmy got no reaction when he came out. It was quiet.
Well, even the crowd with Jay, they weren't doing that as much. And
quite
I know it was
yeah.
cold, because they told us 815 times it was cold.
Chilly Philly.
52 degrees, yeah. Felt like 48.
But
14-degree winds. Nobody talks about them.
But yeah, no, it was. I'm ready for them to be back together. Like, let's stop this charade.
Charade. Papa Tucker.
Well, here's would this not have been a great main event on like Fastlane? You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I felt like they rushed it here. Not this match, but I think the build up in the Jimmy versus Jay storyline, it felt rushed to get it onto the WrestleMania card. And as I zoom out, is if like launching a trilogy at WrestleMania is a weird move. And so I'm trying to figure it out. If that's the first one, like, how does that not happen a little bit earlier to get here? We've been in this bloodline shit for years now, like actual years. Yeah. And as it's happening, I'm like, this isn't it. Nope. It didn't do it for me. And I thought it would be a great main event on Elimination Chamber on one of the B-level pay-per-views where there wasn't enough why other than their brothers and Jimmy and Jay, the match itself, super kick party. And so it was fine, but I felt like it would be better served on its own moment with better story and development to it. And the match wasn't great. Like, it wasn't a great match. And that's frustrating when you have two really good wrestlers in the ring.
Yeah. I mean, for me, this is kind of just the culmination of what was a poorly executed story that started in Detroit. There was it didn't make any sense that Jimmy cost Jay in the tribal combat match. And then Jimmy's explanation is basically, you know, hey, I'm upset at you because you left the bloodline, even though Jimmy quit first. Jimmy was also the one that like came on to the bloodline last. Then fast forward to January, Royal Rumble, they start 1 and 2 and they don't eliminate each other. That would have been the way to set up this WrestleMania story, even if you do have these guys go their separate singles directions, which they needed to at least try it for these few months here. I think that Jay excelled better than Jimmy did in that time because Jimmy's still in the bloodline. He's still kind of just relegated to the background. Chris is probably going to continue to say, okay, what's your favorite singles Jey Uso match? And I'm going to say, yes, the one either Gunther or McIntyre. I get it. Okay.
Both he lost. I like Jey Uso. I like Jey Uso. I do.
I know. I know that you do.
The initial turn on Roman was fantastic. I was like, okay, they might have a single star here. he doesn't do well in singles matches. Like he's even when like his best match on his singles run was when he won the tag titles with Cody.
Yeah.
I don't think it's working. And you have the Usos, just put them together.
That's fair.
I think
That's
what
fair.
Tuck is saying is accurate, and I saw a lot of people say that maybe they should have had a few matches before WrestleMania before doing this, just to set up and make this feel bigger than what it actually was. But at the same time, if you're still executing that match the way that they executed this one, it's not going to work regardless of the story. So yeah, I just thought the structure and everything of it was just off, and it was severely disappointing for me.
And I'll give Eric credit because Eric said maybe they should have got Jimmy a few more wins to make him feel at least credible going into this match, and they didn't. Like, has Jimmy Uso won a singles match? Like, I don't know.
Ever?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Only one person picked Jimmy Uso on the predictions.
Who was? Oh man, who was it? Do we know?
Put him on blast.
I think it might have been me.
Go ahead and look up, my man. Yeah.
It might have. It might have.
No,
been
it was not. I told the podcast had to look above him. It was Eric. He's on mute now. He's on
losers
mute.
over here.
Whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
Can't win
it's
them
fine.
all.
Now, I do have a question. This is I'm looking at the bottom of the ticker on the markwrestlingpodcast.com. Use code Mania for 10% off. I'm filling up a cart. I've got the Main Event Wrestling Network tank top in my cart, rocked, ready to load. Is there any place to find Wrestling Junkies actual merch?
Yes, it is a long URL that I don't remember off the top of my head. But I'll tweet that out to you, or I'll throw it in the comments here real quick. We also have our Mania code as well for $10 off.
And if you can't tell, I don't have a lot of wall space for a tapestry, which is available on the onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com, but I'm looking for some Junkies merch. Jimmy's a junkie now.
Yeah, we got hoodies, we got coffee mugs, we got tanks, we got t-shirts. So plenty set. I like it. So this next match, this feels like a bit of an all-star game of sorts for WrestleMania. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi taking on Damage Control. Jade Cargill's true in-ring debut. Tuck, I'm going to start with you on this. What did you think of the storm that touched down in Philly?
Man, it was cold, it was windy, and it was stormy, baby. This was an absolute sweep on the predictions, top to bottom. There is one other sweep that we'll see on night 2 in regards to the predictions podcast. I think they handled the Jade Cargill stuff well. Gags, you are not correct. There's not
people acknowledging Tribal Chief.
Wow, more than one acknowledging the Tribal Chief on our predictions contest. There is one sweep remaining, and it is Damage Control. It is Damage Control related. So we'll save that for night 2. But I thought the right team won. I'm just gonna say Dakota Kai. I am happily married. I'm just gonna say those 2 words.
God bless Dakota Kai.
Thank you, Gags. That was wild to me. There's no way that the 105 pounds of her was not absolutely shivering in chilly Philly. But didn't love Jade Cargill's hair. That is my only Cargill comment. I thought it was a good match. And the right team won because you have Bianca Belair, you have Jade Cargill, you have Naomi on one side, all 3 working. And then is that the crack that starts breaking the Control's back potentially? But this was more enjoyable and something more appealing to me than the Uso versus Uso match, which I did not expect to say going into the night.
Senor OTM.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Tuck's saying. I think that they win the night for gear. Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Bianca looked absolutely fantastic, as did Damage Control. But it served its purpose. We knew what we were getting going into this match and what we were going to see. It's a showcase mainly for Jade Cargill. They're kind of easing her into the WWE, which is probably the smart approach to things. She's not being showcased in singles matches quite yet. She's not having a streak that really didn't mean much like she had in AEW. But it was fine. I enjoyed it. And like I said, I think it was just more of me enjoying the gear and the presentation of the all-star team rather than the win itself.
Sure. Chris?
Yeah, if we're doing shout outs, hello, Rhea Ripley. Overall, I have it typed, and
saying
Eric
hi.
knows.
Just saying
And
hello.
yeah, no, this is a good presentation from the big three. I loved it. You know, they felt like a big deal. I think all three of them are going to have a big year, either together or individually. Like, I think there are big plans for all of them. I think this is kind of starting to begin the end of Damage Control. I don't know if I need Dakota Kai in Damage Control. I think if you have Asuka, Kyrie, and Io as a group, that I'd be okay with that. Asuka. Also, shout out to Asuka's face paint because that was insane. It looked
That
so
was pretty
cool.
cool.
But a typical WrestleMania kind of showcase match where they all kind of got their stuff in real quick, and the baby faces won. So I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, this was the exact result. It took them a while to build to this match. I mean, Bianca was essentially directionless, in February in Vegas, and kind of out there to promote the Hulu show, which is great. And we're kind of wondering what was going to happen, but Bianca's streak at WrestleMania continues.
So does Asuka.
I was
0-5.
Yeah,
Not great.
Nope.
Did you guys know Naomi has the most wins for a female talent at WrestleMania? They said it on commentary, and I did not believe it. Yeah.
Did not know that.
I don't know if I misheard it, but I'm pretty sure everybody, at least that I was with, heard the same thing. So
Okay.
That might be a thing. I did not know.
Okay. Well, we'll
WrestleMania.
Maybe.
I mean, it might be time to start adding that discussion of we have an idea of who Mr. WrestleMania is. I mean, who would we consider for Miss? I mean, especially with the horsewomen. I forgot this. I forgot this wasn't our normal stream, and I was trying to go click and get your box out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted me to do this?
Yeah. Thank you. There we go.
Are we done? We done playing our little games here?
Yeah, I gave you a millisecond.
Okay. Thank you.
Not yet. Not by a long shot. Okay. Anyway.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, hell froze over last night. Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn won the big one. Mr. OTM, I see you. I see you getting ready to expound over here. So kick us off.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you have good storytelling. The last month was basically all the build that we got for Sami going into this Gunther match. He was doubting himself the entire way. You had the family involved in it as well. It was just a beautifully done match from top to bottom. Easily the match of the night from me. I thought it stole the show for sure. Sami deserves this moment. I don't care what other people have to say about it. I know everybody wants Chad Gable to get that title, and I think Chad Gable's definitely going to get that title from Sami Zayn because Sami now owes Chad Gable that favor. But, I mean, credit to Gunther for a historic reign, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. It was so well done from top to bottom, and I think if you were going to have this reign end, it had to have a good story behind it, and that's what we got here with Sami Zayn. The ultimate underdog, overcoming the odds once again. Just perfect. I enjoyed this one a lot.
Podcast dead?
845 days and 666 days. That's how long Gunther has held titles in the WWE. That is insane. That's just nuts. I can't wait to see because this is going to get him up to that main event level. I can't wait to see what they have planned for him. The presentation of Sami Zayn last night was amazing. It really was. That shot in the back where he's talking to his wife and his kid. He goes through. He's getting ready to go out to curtain, and Kevin Owens is there. Like the whole thing.
And the one shot, no cuts. Yeah. The one shot, the follow. That is complete. Awesome. Not Kevin Dunn. Yeah. Yes.
It was awesome. It was a great presentation. Sami winning, I think, shocked. I mean, at least you and me. It was just at the party. I think it shocked everybody collectively. Yeah. But it was a crazy finish. The brainbuster spot was insane.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to kick out of the second haluva kick, and he didn't. And when he didn't, I don't want to say it felt like the streak ended, but it was like, oh, wait a second. No. I did not see that one coming. And yeah, good for Sami. I mean, if he's not going to get a world title, this is the next best thing because that IC title is leveled up like crazy. So I'm excited to see where they go with both of these guys now. Like they did this title change perfectly. I'm happy with how his title reign ended.
Mr. Tucker.
Well, they got Gunther to a great spot, and now with him not having the Intercontinental title, it puts him on a clear path to a compelling program at the top of the card. To the podcast dad's note, doing some quick math, he's held a title for over 4 years of his career in just those 2 reigns. When you add the numbers and divide them by year, that's impressive. And for someone to take the title off of him, it needed to be somebody with credibility. The cinematography getting him out there, and then the match itself, highlighting his wife. There's compelling layers to it. The match itself was outstanding as well. And look at Sami Zayn's last 3 WrestleManias: Jackass match, main event night 1 tag team title winner, Intercontinental title winner. And Sami Zayn is that guy that always delivers, but never comes to your mind first. In a lot of those conversations, I thought it was super well done. Is the Illuminati confirmed with Gunther's title reign? That is to be determined. But I'm excited for Sami Zayn to lend and maintain credibility with the Intercontinental Championship. And then I'm also excited to see Gunther ascend up the card in seemingly a number of different ways. It could go anywhere from here. So that was 10 out of 10 for me. And only a third of the picks picked Sami Zayn. So that was another backbreaker. All the money was on Gunther.
Long. Yeah, I should have known.
This is this I don't even know where to begin with this. I think the first point is that I think today marks only the 71st day, give or take, that Gunther has been signed with WWE and hasn't held a championship. Like it's just a sobering thought that he has come in and had the dominance that he's had, and we should have seen it coming because we saw Walter in NXT UK, and I mean he leveled up leaps and bounds, got himself TV ready for the main roster, and there was just no looking back here. Imperium nominated for Slamming for Faction of the Year. They didn't win it, but that goes to the impact that this group has had on the company. It's only going to get better from here. And I agree with Tino. I mean, it's going to be time for him to be in that world title picture. Bash in Berlin is coming in August. Whether he walks in as champion, I think that remains to be seen. But I do think that show is going to be very Gunther centric. So this is the time. He has done a great job. If anything else, if his only goal was to elevate this title and then move on, mission accomplished times 1,000. So now it's going to be time because I think eventually we'll talk about I'm sure that we'll all talk about what happens with the World Heavyweight title tonight. But I think it's safe to say that if Drew walks out with that title, as much as they are pushing him as a heel, it's going to be very hard to boo him in the next few months. So
until Punk comes back, because then they'll get behind Punk. I think
that's true.
I think Gunther will get drafted to SmackDown.
Ooh, when is the draft?
Okay.
Did they announce a date?
No, but he said it's
just in the next month. Yeah.
I mean, Cody Rhodes and Gunther feuding for the summer. Okay.
So let me ask you guys this: if let's just say draft happens. Do you look at an Imperium split, keep Kaiser and Vinci as a tag team, but let Gunther just go do a singles thing, or do you keep them as a collective unit?
I keep them as a unit
together. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, you got 2 separate tag straps now, so might as well.
It's still early in their run on the main roster, but to break them up. But they've broken up people before way too early, so never say never. I think they tried it. What was it with the Street Profits one time, or did they never actually pull that trigger and split?
They let Montez go on a little run by himself because I think Angelo might have been nursing something, but they didn't. They still haven't pulled that full trigger. And when you watch Bianca and Montez, the Hulu documentary, one of them, Montez, is ready to go singles. Angelo, I think he sees the writing on the wall. He's like, if I'm not right next to Montez, I don't know where I am, which is an interesting dynamic. But you haven't seen a split like that in quite some time. But for me, when you look at Imperium, it is Ludwig. Like, of the two, Ludwig's the guy. I thought he undersold the coat twirl from Gunther, but it is fine.
Ludwig Kaiser.
Giovanni's not bad in the ring. I'll say that. Watch a couple.
It's fair.
He's pretty good in the ring.
Yeah.
Those bald Italians can go. Let me tell you. Bias take.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we are at our main event billed as the biggest tag team match in WrestleMania history. The final boss, The Rock, the Tribal Chief / WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, taking on American Nightmare Cody Rhodes and World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins. We all know the stakes. Bloodline wins, Bloodline rules. So we're set up for tonight. But Podcast Dad, I'm going to start with you on this one. This match clocked in at 44 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah.
And now I just kind of want your take on it. Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that. I love this. I mean, if people say they didn't like it, they haven't been watching the story.
No.
You didn't like this?
No, I liked it.
I'm not looking at you.
Oh.
Man.
I'm not going to say what I have to say until I have to say it.
all right. And you know, I'll take my victory lap now. I did predict The Rock was going to pin Cody Rhodes, so I'll go ahead and take that lap. Hey, Eric.
Good job.
He sure likes to put himself over.
I do. We have
We
to.
all-
Remember, we have to be selfish.
Exactly.
I really enjoyed this match. I had a lot of fun with this match. It didn't feel like 44 minutes, at least for me.
No.
I this is like the last time for a long time tonight that we're probably going to get a Roman Reigns title match. So I was kind of enjoying what we saw last night with The Rock. The storytelling was there. I mean, Rollins hurting his knee again. That's going to play a factor in tonight. Everything that they did is going to play a factor in tonight. I'm right with Tino. He knows it. It didn't feel like 44 minutes to me. I loved it. I love seeing The Rock back in the ring. It was the nostalgia of that. It was Cody Rhodes looking like he was going to get it a couple of times. That spirit of The Rock was, I love that moment. Like this match, I really, really, really enjoyed. And I think that closing shot again of Cody in the ring, the same shot we got last year, and that going through his mind, like, I can't do this. And that is going to put that doubt when tonight, when he does it, the place is going to explode. Yeah. And it's going to be one of the best, I'm going to say it now, going to be one of the best Mania moments we've seen in a long, long time when Cody wins that title.
I'm very curious, Mr. OTM, your thoughts.
All right. Well, I didn't hate it. I just want to put that out there. I'm not shitting on this match, but I think it's a
but you started out like that.
You did. You're going to say something negative.
I don't want you to think that I hated it, but here's a laundry list of things I didn't like.
It was slow to me. It did not feel like 44 minutes. I felt like we were dragging there for the first 20. It's like
three of them have to wrestle again tonight.
Trust me, I was going to say that. I get it. They got to go again another night, so they're not going to go balls to the wall. But like, man, we need to get to something of significance at some point. But eventually we got there, and I think the last 20 minutes is exactly what I expected out of this. And I think most of us assumed the Bloodline were going to lose to ultimately set up that stipulation for night 2. And that's what we got. I didn't see The Rock pinning Cody Rhodes like the podcast had predicted, but ultimately that's the right decision because you probably don't want Seth Rollins to get pinned twice. That makes him look like shit because we know Seth Rollins is going to lose to Drew McIntyre today. It's inevitable. I don't even think that should be a competitive match, by the way. I want to throw that out there. I feel like Seth should probably get his ass kicked, and it should be about 5 minutes, in and out. Drew McIntyre walks out a champ. But nonetheless, I thought it was good. Wasn't great. Once again, maybe I had too high of expectations for this one, but the entrances were phenomenal. The Rock's presentation was top-notch. I didn't expect anything less. But, yeah, we got where we needed to go, and now it's time to finish the story.
Yeah. Tuck, your thoughts?
I'm a little bit more in line with the podcast ad in regards to overall reaction and account. I thought The Rock, whatever, hater. I thought The Rock deserves a lot of credit. I thought he did a lot more than what I was expecting. His first visit, he did, I think he did a back break. He did like 2 moves and it looked like he was gassed. And so I'm like, where is this guy's cardio at? And where's it going to be in April? And I thought The Rock delivered from a competitive athletic fitness standpoint. We know being muscle strong and being in ring shape are not the same thing. But even the Roman spearing The Rock, like that moment set my house on fire from people that know The Rock and they know Roman and they're on the same team, like very elementary kind of fundamental knowledge. Oh, that's a big moment. Again, when Roman Reigns and the Bloodline are involved, with The Rock being involved, with Cody, with Seth, you have so many professionals more concerned about telling a story and pulling on heartstrings, and sometimes it takes 45 minutes to do that. I will lean into Gag saying the first portion was a little sluggish, but I do think there was the back and forth of who's going to go first and who's going to do this. And, we have all the people in the ring, but we're going to make them wait and continue to wait and build it up and build it up. I thought there was a number of great spots. And the money from the predictions was not a sweep. A third of the people picked Cody and Seth to win. I was not one of that third, but I do think it's interesting. And now, like, I'm going to spend all day figuring out where Cody's going to get the help. If there is help, we've seen some support show up, but what the hell is this match going to look like? It's not going to be Roman and Cody one-on-one duking it out. It's like it's going to be a car crash of sorts where, like, there's just a heavy load from a production standpoint, people being in the right place. They're asking a lot, and I am so excited for it to deliver when it does. And to your end, I think Drew McIntyre also steps on Seth tonight, and he gets the WrestleMania moment, and I love this version of Drew McIntyre as well. So I think for what it was supposed to do, it seemingly all four of them came out of it unscathed, which to me is like a huge risk. Like, why the hell are some of these guys fighting on SmackDown the night before WrestleMania when, like, you can roll an ankle and be jacked, Yeah. And so a big risk, but with big risk comes big rewards, and we are all going to celebrate the spoils this evening.
Yeah, very, very well said. I think that, if you didn't think the Bloodline was going to win this match, I mean, you haven't been paying attention to what's been going on the last year. Even when we look at just the new intro that WWE has for that show, it had a very Marvel type feel. This match was Infinity War. Tomorrow is Endgame. I mean, Cody.
Tonight is Endgame.
Tomorrow's WrestleMania night 2 tonight, Eric. I know you had a rough night. It's okay.
Sometimes I just.
He didn't have a rough night. He did that on his own volition.
That doesn't mean it wasn't a rough night.
Yeah, but you're the only one to blame for that one.
I never said I wasn't. I know. I've been cursing me today. Yeah.
You should be.
I'm here. I'm upright. I'm bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Yeah.
And
so leave me alone, all right?
Barely.
Okay, you know what? He gets to host number 7. How about that?
All right, there we go.
That's
running the show.
Yeah.
Man, I hope you join us because it's not going to come up because I don't know what I'm doing. You had to put my social media.
I'm sorry.
I have no idea how you did that.
I'm sorry. What did you just? What was the sentence that before that? What did you just say? Do you admit that you did? Okay. All right.
That's what that was what I heard.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like this doesn't concern you.
The dads always stick together, Eric. We
have to.
That's all right. Fine.
Movement.
Fine. Team no kids up here.
Yeah. Acknowledge us.
Team a lot of time. Team no care in the world. Team do whatever the hell you want. Team to stay out until 3 a.m. Make own choices on your own volition, then complain about it like it was somebody else's problem.
Acknowledge us.
That's right.
We will not.
Hey, it's
faction warfare here at the main event.
Somebody has to do it. Might as well be me.
Look at these guys.
Anyway, gentlemen, this as far as night ones go, solid. I mean, there wasn't really anything that I actively like shit on, I guess, for lack of a better word. The Jimmy versus Jay just, I don't know.
I disappointed than anything, right?
It did not.
I feel like they're gonna wish they had that one back. It just, Because I think at one oh, wait, no, that was the Sammy Gunther match. At one point, we had been saying, okay, anytime you see a chop, take a shot. But we should have done the super kick game, is what we should have done.
16.
But
no,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
are you
16
serious?
16 super kicks in that match. Yes,
it was
why.
only 11 minutes.
Yeah, so
1.2 super kicks per minute in that match, guys.
That's a high rate. And shout out to Omar's profile pic, by the way.
What's
right.
Omar going? Oh,
I do like that.
It looks like it's staring right at his comment. So
it's
a good one.
Shout out to Omar.
Love it. But yeah, gentlemen, night one is in the books. Solid show, I think is the word. We're gonna go around. I'm gonna start with Mr. OTM. If you had to give a letter grade on the night, what would you give it?
B-. It was good, not great. I think solid is the word I used on Twitter. You used it as well. I think that's a great way of putting it. But ultimately, I think it's all leading up to night 2 being the must-see night, especially with the main event. You know you're going to get shenanigans galore. It's going to be entertaining as hell. But yeah, night 1 was just solid. You had a couple moments. The middle kind of dragged a little bit for me. The main event, of course, dragged a little bit as well. But ultimately, I think we got where we needed to go. I'm excited with the results. So yeah, B- for me.
Mr. Tucker.
I'm at I was at about an 84, so like a regular B for me, but like this one has a different feel because we needed night 1 to get to night 2, and that hasn't always been the case. I mean, WrestleMania night 1 last year was a candidate for our match of the year, PLE of the year, splitting the 2 days and won. And I don't know that we necessarily need that. I do think that night 1 is serving its purpose, and potentially in this new era, tempering expectations that night 1 matters to make night 2 make a little bit more sense. I thought it was good. I was happy. I was a happy customer with my $10 Peacock subscription or whatever. And I got to enjoy it from the warmth of my home, not the 48 and 15 mile an hour winds as they did in Chilly Philly. I don't know that they'll ever go back to Philadelphia again. Realistically, Nick Khan came out and said, hand up, this was not my decision. This is the last one that was booked prior to me getting here. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. But I was happy with it.
Tuck, sorry, podcast dad. Before you go, I have to ask Tuck a question. Since we were at WrestleMania last year, Tuck, did you have like a kind of a sad feeling watching this one from home? Because I had a little FOMO watching this, knowing how great that experience was for the first time at WrestleMania.
Well, and then you go back and you watch Next Gen, and they're at the Hollywood tryouts, and the logo's all over your face, and you're like, I was fucking there, and now I'm here. Much different. I got August 1st WrestleMania, much different vibe. Yes. But it is a little bit like, dude. A year ago, I was almost getting sideswiped on my Lime scooter by a car turning right, and here I am. It was not great. But Cleveland, you will be happy to know Cleveland is limeable. We are finding an Airbnb limeable to the stadium. I think that was a great pick by Gags. I can't wait for that. It's going to be a great weekend in Ohio, SummerSlam weekend. Looking forward to it.
Podcast Dad, final thought.
I think a solid B. I think that's the consensus going around. It was good, not great. The women's title match was good. The presentation of the big 3 was very good. Sammy winning was that shock value that we needed. I loved the main event. I thought it was really good. Just as far as kind of looking at it as like the season finale of something, and that was episode 1, and then they kind of split those episodes up
and be continued.
Exactly. That's how I kind of looked at it, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing The Rock back and actually looking like he was having a good time, like unlike some of the other times we've seen him come back and kind of labor through a match. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, I would say B. I'm really, really looking forward to tonight. I think this main event, I think, has to deliver. I think, again, we are hyping it up a little bit, but Cody's got to win, and I think that's going to ease everything. I know.
Of all time, it fucking better be.
I know. It's not the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, but yes,
thankfully we've already had that. Yeah,
I am excited. I'm ready to go. I'm going to take a nap first before I come over, though.
Yeah, I figured. Actually, I need to do the same thing. But I'm gonna give it a B as well. This is, I think, in the larger scheme of things, this is kind of just the marking of a new era, which I think when we look back on, on this 20, 25 years from now, I think is when we're going to see this as the turning point. So while there are some matches that don't necessarily feel significant now, much like everybody has already said on here, this is setting up for tonight to be something just spectacular, I hope, because I'm going to say it again because I know there are people out there that want to see Roman win and want to see this continue for whatever reason, to have him break Hollywood Terry's world title reign. I just think it's going to be very difficult to try to get a crowd to buy into Cody for one more year in the chase. I think that we can all understand it once, but twice, I don't see happening. I think that this is the time to mark that new era. Shout out to The Rock, because he absolutely nailed it. He had rings shipped to LA. Chad Patton came out to work with him and get kind of the timing on everything down, just to go through rehearsals. So this was the Rock that we needed to see if he's going to come back. So overall, very very happy with it, and now it's time for us to take naps, get ready for night 2. So, gentlemen, it is always great to see you. Chris, you're fine. Make sure to follow at Pod on the Mark, at Junkies Pod, at Main Event _net. Promo code Mania on both of our merch stores. Tuck, I will get that over to you. I'll put it in one of the chats here. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Main Event Mixer 7, I'm sure, is coming sooner than later. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe for Backlash or something. But always good to see you guys.
We'll probably take a week or 2 off, depending on how good Monday Night Raw is in terms of Main Event Mixers, just because there's been a lot of content. We promised a lot of content at the network this week, and we delivered. So appreciative of anybody that tunes in. There's 87 people watching right now, so appreciate every single one of you. Make
Absolutely.
sure you subscribe to the Main Event Wrestling Network. We're only at 30 subscribers, people, but we don't just have live shows. We have vicious rants every single week. Scott reviews old wrestling pay-per-views. We have a lot of content, so yeah. Follow the network. Check out the Wrestling Junkies. I'm sure you guys got a loaded show week coming up once again. I'm hoping Tuck will be back with OTM here soon. I know he's a busy man, but we miss him over there. No offense to Ian. I got to spend the night with Ian.
Look at Ian.
So, yeah.
Where is my son?
All offense to Ian.
So here's the
Has
story.
he said anything in the group chat yesterday?
Here's the story. He was going to he did stay the night here, and he had a work meeting at 2:00 in the city that I live in. So he was just going to camp out here until then. He forgot to bring his work clothes. So he had to drive all the way back 35 minutes this morning, and he's just going to stay at home and drive back out here to where he was originally. So yeah.
What a rookie.
Tough
Kids gonna be
Ian.
kids, Yeah.
Right.
You got to get a hold of that guy, podcast Dad.
I can lead him to water. I can't make him drink.
Facts.
Gentlemen, pleasure as always. Thank you to everybody that's watching. I think we've got 87 on the Main Event stream. We've got 26 on the Junkies Pod stream as well. So we have a nice little crowd today. So thank you to everybody that's been watching. Have fun, enjoy wrestling. Night 2 is going to be spectacular, but wrestling is meant to be enjoyed. Support your local indie federations. I think that's all I've got as far as shameless plugs. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. Pleasure as always.
See you later, people.